So, I've been posting a lot of time-lapse videos, and it's kind of cool to see, a few weeks worth of progress, in 1 minute. But I wanted to show you guys, the blood, sweat, and tears that goes into this, because that gets missed during a lot of the... It's hard to talk and paint sometimes. My brain's thinking about what I'm doing here. My wife's got the phone in front of my face, and that makes it even harder. See, now, this is what I mean. It's like I'm about 80% done, and I'm still kind of figuring stuff out. This has been one of those kind of paintings. I didn't like that round brush I was using. It was too smooth. So I want just a little bit of texture in here. And this is what's been difficult about this painting. There's so many gradations in... That's my dog whining in the back, in case you're wondering. We don't have anyone kidnapped down here. So a lot of gradations in the fish and the water. I'm going to fix this up. There's too much texture up there. And so I didn't finish any part of this painting yet. And I'm glad I didn't, because sometimes when you take something to fruition, it affects the rest of the painting. And so I want it to all kind of come together, towards the end. Like, okay, the trout has a very smooth texture, and that's going to conflict with all this going on up here. There's way too much movement going on up there, so that's going to be distracting to the trout, and so that's kind of what's going through my mind. And all that stuff always weighs on me when I'm painting. It's like, oh, I got to get back to that spot that's the wrong texture, but I'm it's taking a lot of discipline and experience to know you'll get to that, Bob. Just first things first, as I always tell my son, and I don't have all the colors I need out, so hopefully you guys can bear with me for a second. I'm just going to put this right on my table, right there. That's why I have this paper on my table.
These rocks look really nice.
Yeah, that I thought that was going to be the hardest part. And you know what? Sometimes when you just say, just forget it, just go for it, and just start throwing paint around, and they came out nice. And again, they're not done, but they're probably the most done part in this. I love this. That gives it some nice depth, and I gotta push this, and that's what I mean. Everything affects everything else. So now that I push this guy this far back, he's too dark. So he's too far forward. And that's what I mean. There's everything. As I say it again, I always say the same things over and over. Everything affects everything else. There's a rhythm. There's texture, colors. Everything has to work together. As if you've seen my videos before, you've heard me say, a painting is only as strong as its weakest part, like a chain. And if there's something that's unbelievable in the painting, or things are conflicting, it kind of wrecks everything else that is right in the painting. Kind of like a bad scene in a movie. You're like, yeah, it was a good movie, but that last 20 minutes was just absurd, and it kind of wrecks the rest of the movie for you. So anyway, this has been a very, as I said, monotonous kind of back and forth with this. And this is my first fish painting, so this is kind of exciting. And this was a commission for a guy from my hometown who I never met before, and he saw me online, and he reached out to me, and he's like, "Hey, I'm from Park Ridge." I'm like, you're kidding me. So that's always fun and exciting when that kind of stuff happens. See what I mean? And now here I'm painting wet into wet. Usually I dry. I'll take the blow dryer out and I'll dry it, especially with the rocks. I put a lot of this down with the palette knife, then I dried it, then I came over it again. But the fish, I'm treating, and I'm not sure if I should be doing this, I've treated this part of the painting very differently. And I'm wondering if I'm making it harder on myself than it needs to be. All right, looks like we're getting somewhere. This brush is probably too big. A little bit.
And that's the reference right there.
Yeah, this is the reference I'm using for the painting. And again, my goal is not to replicate the photo. Yes, I want it to look like it. I want it to feel like it more than anything, actually. But I don't. My goal is not to copy this photo. It's to feel it. And there's some variations here that worked out nice. This kind of misty rock formation. It's not in the reference, but it really added some nice depth, and it kind of happened by accident. And then I was like, oh wow, that's really good. I'm gonna follow that, and I followed it all the way across, and it gave it some nice depth. And once I fix this guy and push him back, I mean, he's not even painted there. I toned my whole board that brown. All right, I'm doing a lot of talking. You guys aren't get to see me paint. All right, this is the most exciting part of my demos when I do this. You ready? Blow drying, huh? That's fun. Give me 30 seconds, not even. And then I'm going to show you what I meant by drying the paint and then coming over it. And so these are acrylics, so I can dry them real quick. I mean, what was that, 30 seconds? If this was oil paints, I wouldn't even know what to do. So now I'm going to try something a little different. Instead of blending, like I said, wet into wet, what I'm going to do is, this is called glazing. I'm going to glaze this highlight. Yeah, this was definitely the way to go. I'm going to glaze this highlight in. Because if I try and put there's colors in this, there's colors in this reflection. And if I put the colors right on the green, the darker values, they're not going to be true. And so while this may look extreme and you're thinking, oh man, he's messing this up, I'm going to push it back. This is going to be one of those paintings that when I'm finished, I'm like, oh, I love this painting. But while I'm painting it, I'm like, oh man, is this going to be over soon? This has been such a battle. Some of my paintings I look at and I can't believe I even did them. Not because I'm like, bragging about the end result. I mean, I don't even know, like, when I see certain textures or forms, I'm thinking, how in the world did I do that? I don't even remember the process. It's almost like I'm in this painting zone, and everything else gets blocked out. Except my 13-year-old son, when he jumps down the stairs, I pretty much jump out of my skin because I'm all zoned out, painting 3 inches from my board, painting, and then it sounds like a buffalo got dropped from heaven onto my ceiling. But I'm getting used to it. So if anyone has any questions, drop them in the chat or email me. I love helping out young painters. I had a girl who, a young artist who saw me on Facebook, and she happened to be local. She's just starting out, and she asked if she can come over and see my studio, and it was my absolute pleasure to show her what I do and how I do it. And hopefully she'll be a famous artist one day. There was this really cool guy who took time out of his day and helped me out. That was the wrong color, but that's okay. I can fix that later. Anyone out there? Anyone in the chat, honey?
No, we have.
No?
Well, yeah, you have Robin, Ryan, and David.
Oh,
Fox.
Robin Ryan. I think, is that the Robin who bought one of my crow paintings? Is that you, Robin? I hope so, because I'm very grateful.
So Robin is asking, are you working in acrylic or oil?
Acrylic.
Acrylic.
Yeah. And I'm having a tough go of it, Robin.
She said it is. It is the person brought.
Oh, cool. Thank you, Robin. I just saw you on Facebook. I saw some good stuff, some great work by you. It's such a thrill when an artist you respect actually buys your artwork. That's really cool.
And Cindy Karchner joined as well.
Hey, Cindy, where you from? Where you tuning in from? I don't have enough of my colors. I should have opened up everything before I started the video. I'm kind of a little bit in kind of like, not panic mode, but trying to figure stuff out as I go. But that's kind of my personality. I worry about the mess I make while I'm doing it, but
So Robin wants to know, regarding acrylic, why struggling? She says she loves your art too, by the way.
Thanks, Robin. I'm struggling. You probably just tuned in. I was talking about what was difficult about this was I was painting wet into wet because there's so many value shifts as well as color, and it just wasn't going well. And this glazing method doesn't seem to be going well either. But as I often say, it all gets used. Like what might look like a mess now, we'll add some texture later. Like this blue, I thought I had white. My colors are so close in value that I thought it was white, but it's blue. But I bet you some of that blue is going to pop through the white I'm about to put down and be just what I needed it to be.
Cindy's from Emos.
Amos.
Yeah.
I don't even know where that is.
I don't know where that is.
Is that in the United States?
I don't know. We'll find out.
See, I can feel myself tightening up a little bit because most of this painting is done and I don't want to mess this up, and that's usually when the trouble starts. When I start getting too into my head and I get too careful, and then it could look stilted and forced, and I don't want that. But there's so much, just this one spot alone. This fin took like 5 hours, and it's about 2 inches by 1 inch. And oh my goodness. But again, there's different colors, different values in those colors. It goes from green to a darker violet, then to a light violet, then into an even lighter violet. And then in there's like a light Payne's gray. And so it's just been a real battle. And I think sometimes I try too hard and then I get, like I said, I get stiff. I know I'll land on my feet. I know when I'm done, I won't stop until I'm excited about it. And I know the collector's going to be super excited, but in the middle of it all, that's my dog again. In the middle of it all, I got to be careful not to get in my own head.
Donald Shoemaker joined.
Who?
Donald Shoemaker. And
oh, I know Donald. What's up, Donald? I usually see Donald at the Flemington Artisan Show, which I'm going to be at this year as well. May 28th, I think. So.
Well, Cindy says you're so talented. Cindy Ryan Bowman.
Cindy Ryan Bowman. Is that the same Cindy we were talking to before?
Yes.
Okay.
Elizabeth Patton joined, and she wants to know what kind of fish it is.
This is a lake trout, and I love fishing for lake trout. And a buddy of mine came over who I always go fishing with. We both catch fish, but we never catch fish when we fish together. So we were having some good laughs. It's like, hey, Ed, this is what a fish looks like. This is what we don't catch when we fish together. Okay, you guys are seeing a rare moment where I am just really noodling this thing. And I rarely paint like this. Like maybe a little section. Like if you guys are familiar with my crow paintings, I know Robin is because she has one. The only time I really do this is just a certain part of the painting, and I'll do a lot of texture, and my things will they'll form out of the texture, and I'll just have this one smaller focal point, and that was really what was fun about my crow paintings. But I'm doing that a lot in this painting, in areas I didn't expect to be. So this is what doesn't get seen in the time lapse videos that I do. It just looks like I blow through these things in a few hours, and I can assure you that is not what is happening. I've been working on this painting for about 3 weeks. Okay, I'm starting to get a little somewhere.
Valerie Stender joined and she says it looks gorgeous.
Oh, thank you, Valerie.
And Rhonda Lynn is watching.
Excellent. It's just like a Bruce Springsteen concert. Just how many, like hundreds, thousands of people, honey?
Not yet.
Not yet. I like that. That's my wife. She's so encouraging. Again, I'm not really too concerned about where I'm painting right now. I know it's a darker value, so I'm just going to get that down. I'm actually trying to loosen up a little bit. I'm almost like I'm writing with a pencil. When I write, my fingers get really tight on the pencil, and I feel that happening on the brush. And I know, I'm not allowing really cool stuff to happen when I get tense like that. All right.
Patricia Burton is watching. She just joined.
Hey, Patricia, where are you from? Where are you tuning in from? Can you say tuning in when you're on Facebook? Is that allowed? is that what an old guy says?
No, that's what the cool kids say.
Oh, do they? Okay.
Oh, Willie joined. Willie, hi.
Hey, Willie's a high school friend. What's up, Willie? Willie, your wife reached out to me a little less than a year ago about a house portrait. I hope she didn't forget about that. I'd love to do that for you guys. Did he answer? Did I put him in an awkward spot? She didn't tell me.
Oh, it might have been a surprise. Honey.
Oh, yeah. Surprise, Willie. All right, you see that now? All right, I'm starting to feel a little better. And this is what happens when you get tense. You start going from spot to spot. And the good part about that is parts that look unresolved actually get resolved. This is going to sound really weird when other things get finished. So, for instance, probably this spot here. This part is very unfinished, but it's going to look less unfinished while I'm working on this tail. And so that's why I'm moving on. And that takes a lot of discipline for me to leave something unresolved. My personality is, let's fix this. Let's fix this now. Even in my relationships, if something's wrong, I want it fixed. And sometimes you just need to let things breathe a little bit. My wife could probably tell you about that.
Willie said, it sounds great. She said she would love for you to do that portrait.
Ah, excellent. It's been a real exciting week in the studio. I mean, I've had a tornado of good news. My show that opens in May sold out this week before the show even opened, and I just am thrilled to death that people came in for like while the show was being set up, and they bought the whole show. And I got a call from the gallery owner and said, "Hey, Bob, do you have any more work?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm an artist. I've got a studio full of work." She goes, "Well, I'm going to need some more. Your show just sold out." And I just couldn't believe it. So that was really, really exciting to happen. So if anyone who's watching bought any of my work from that show, I want you to know how grateful I am, because without you, I couldn't be doing this.
Yeah, Valerie and Robin say congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome. Ken Hobson is watching too.
Oh, Ken, he's an amazing watercolor artist. I look at his, even though I'm not a watercolor artist, I can learn a lot from him. He does fantastic work. We've been chatting on Facebook on and off for probably a year. I'm not too concerned with detail right now. Like I said, I'm just trying to get some paint down and, just block this in a little more. This is bothering me. This is way too hard of an edge. And this is that back and forth that I was talking about. That's what's so great about my crow paintings, is there's so much texture in them. And there's really only a very limited tight spot, and by tight I mean detailed, which is usually their faces. And so it's a lot easier to kind of just let go a little bit more.
Jack Goodrich is watching too.
Jack! He's another fisherman. Jack, this is what I don't catch. I don't catch these, Jack. I hear about them, but I don't catch them. Jack tells me tall tales of his son. Well, actually, they're not tales. They're real. He showed me pictures catching these bass that are bigger than footballs. And I'm like, man, I got to hang out with people like Jack more often. Guys who catch fish.
Oh, Robin, thank you. She said your wife is so awesome. So cool we do this together.
Oh, it is. I'm going to put her on payroll. We just talked to our accountant. I'm not even kidding.
I should be. I'm a videographer, photographer.
I run everything past her. Honey,
support person.
Yeah, exactly. When I'm spiraling. I ran out of ability, honey. It's over. It was a good run.
Willie loves this portrait. It looks awesome. Oh, what's wrong, Milo? Okay, Milo.
Our giant dog is down here. He's whining. Mm-hmm. You hear him?
Needs to go out.
Yeah, this isn't the most exciting demo, guys. I'm sorry about this. I thought since I was getting closer to the end that there might be some more exciting stuff happening, but you're watching the back and forth battle. This is the non-fun part. Milo, you're driving me nuts. Right, you're gonna make me end this video? All right. Take care, everyone. Thanks for joining me. See you soon. Sign up for my newsletter if you haven't. You'll be on my list for giveaways and sales and studio tours, and you get to watch me and my wife make videos together. So that's it. Take care. Have a good night.